Namaskar. Hello and welcome to 𝗑𝗙𝗏𝗏 channel. I'm your host Sree Iyer. After a long hiatus, part of it is my fault. Col A K Raina joins us. Col Raina Sahab, Namaskar and welcome to 𝗑𝗙𝗏𝗏 channel. How are you?
Namaskaram, Shirji. Please don't blame yourself. Happens. It happens from both sides.
Sir ji, to maaf karne ke liye bhi bada dil hona chahiye. I am so grateful to you that you continue to pick up the phone and talk to me. So viewers, I'll tell you what happened. The last time I was supposed to meet, we are going to have a hangout 2 weeks ago. The time had changed in US. We had fallen an hour back, and somehow my alarm didn't go off on time. And by the time I got up, there was no time to prepare. Unfortunately, I did not tell Col Raina that I overslept. So, but he was very generous, and he is back here. A very important topic, viewers. This 0.5 problem that was identified some years ago, it's now beginning to spread out like a hydra. And the security agencies have to get 1,000 and 1,000 right. In other words, if there are 1,000 attempts to try and cut India, they have to get it right every time. And for that requires a huge amount of resources. Of course, artificial intelligence is one way to do it. But what if artificial intelligence itself gets fooled? That's also a challenge. You have what is called as false positives and false negatives. Both are bad. So we're going to talk about what happens from an intelligence perspective, how agencies try to keep on top. Are there going to be more resources? All that and more. Col Raina Sahab, maybe you can take one example of how something was suspected and it turned out to be something else. Like, for example, Uttarakhand, gelatin sticks, lots of them found. And we talk about 3,000 kilos of ammonium nitrate. In Bengal, at the border, 16,000 kilos of ammonium nitrate was caught. Over to you, sir.
Namaskar, Shirji. Namaskar, everybody. Yeah, this 0.5, the term coined by late General 𝗣𝗽𝗏 Rawat, I have for past 1 year or so, I've been calling it 1.0. And I feel this is the biggest threat that India faces today. We can always take care of Pakistan. China, as of now, is on the we are having a thaw, so it's okay for the time being. The inner thing worries me, and it worries all of us who have some understanding or who closely watch what's happening. Like you said, this 3,000 came into limelight because it happened in Delhi and it was followed by a blast. Those 16,000 kgs which was recovered on Indo-Bangladesh border just hit the not even headline. It came and went. So unless until you're shaken up, you generally don't wake up. That's how we are. But I think that is also not a very bad quality as far as public is concerned. We afford to sleep, and we should sleep because there's so much to panic. But agencies don't have this leeway. They have to be at it 24/7. And in fact, if you look at this incident which happened in Delhi blast and then Srinagar blast, here a couple of men who placed sense of duty above everything else in their life, they made the difference. So we all know that posters are being put up. SHO who saw the poster, the video, the SHO actually is not physically very fit. He has some very serious issues with his health. But then he didn't sleep over it. Then comes into play SSP of Srinagar, IPS officer, and then Sandeep, and then the whole thing came out. But I still feel, Shiriji, as of now, as we speak, whatever recoveries have been made, including gelatin sticks in Uttarakhand, there have been huge recoveries of weapons in Lucknow and Gujarat. Then we had that poisoning attempt in Gujarat. All this, in my personal view, I may be right, I may be wrong, I hope I'm wrong, is not even 5% of what threatens us. Agencies have been able to scratch the surface of the problem. A plan for many years has been going on. And when General 𝗣𝗽𝗏 Rawat said it almost 3.5, 4 years back, it's obvious he knew much more than what we knew at that point of time. He because of his post, his appointment in the hierarchy, he had access to information. And unfortunately, at one way of looking at this thing is that, okay, agency did very well. They averted a major disaster by catching that ammonium nitrate thing in Faridabad. The other way of, because it was not in isolation. That ammonium nitrate thing was not in isolation. There were other things happening around it. So we had a university coming up, a university run by a guy who's been to a jail. He's had 3 years of imprisonment. He comes out, sets up a university. There he recruits doctors from Kashmir. Some of them kind of dismissed by government of Jammu and Kashmir for the nefarious activities or negligence. They become faculties. So the question which then stares back at us is what was happening to those things which are happening right in front, in open. This university coming up on 67 or 70 acres of land, it didn't happen overnight, right? So somebody applied for it, somebody gave the license. So if you look at the internal security problem, the root of this, Shreeji, I may be differing from others, lies in the way we select our leaders or the way we elect our leaders. And I say so because to get elected to Indian Parliament or Assembly, you need, Indian Parliament is about 10 to 15 crores game. So most of it has to come from you. Parties don't give you that much of money. So if you spend 10 or 15 crores from your pocket to get into Parliament, only a fool would say thereafter that I don't want to make money. It's a human tendency that whatever investment you make, even if you don't want to double it, at least you want to recover it. And the recovery has to come through nefarious means. And there these guys come in. People who come and bribe you for licenses, people who come and bribe you for, certifications, people who come and bribe you for putting pressure on officials to clear their applications for setting up universities and things like that. And also, when you have rapists and killers accused, not convicted, entering our lawmaking houses, whether parliament or assemblies, what do you expect? So I see the problem at a very bigger thing. It starts from top. Imagine if there were a system where people could enter parliament on a system of election where money is not the key. So it could be done in today's world. People don't have to really carry out rallies. You don't need to go and do take out processions through cities and towns. A lot of it can be done electronically using AI. Then why are we still allowing all this? So our electoral system has not changed. It has actually gone from bad to worse. Now, people may not like it what I'm saying, but when you have that kind of setup on top, what do you expect? The person who's paid or he's invested so much of money, he enters parliament, now he has to recover it. When he recovers it, he can't recover it from official sources naturally. So all these guys come in. That's how such university. Now this Alafal, whatever, I don't know to take the name of this university. I call it 𝗤𝗏𝗏 University. This 𝗤𝗏𝗏 University is only one which has come under scanner. There are many more. In India, we know people use Sanatani names in their eateries and other places to make it look like something owned by a Hindu. And when Yogi ji says, display your names, all those names disappear. So the problem is very, very huge. Then you have state governments who use, we say Pakistan uses proxy as a state policy against us. I would say there are states within India being governed by certain parties who use illegal migrants and such like things to remain in power. In West Bengal, we all know what happens there. So the problem starts from there. Now, when you have this kind of setup, still, thank God, we have people working on the ground level, agencies, who carry on with their work. And like you said, a terrorist has to make 1,000 attempts, get lucky once, and he or she has done the work. Whereas agencies have to be, successful every time, each one of 1,000 times. Then only, and we don't even thank them because we won't come to know. Anything which is foiled by agencies seldom hits the news, seldom comes to public attention. It's done intentionally, and that's how it should be. But yes, agencies are doing their work, but at the same time, same system has made sure that minimum funding, if you look at the funding of our research and analysis wing, RNW, IB, local intelligence units, police intelligence units, funding is minimal. Manpower is minimal. In fact, Shreeji, I may now stick my neck and tell you, say this thing on your program, that today what's happening is a lot of raids and recoveries are happening. So local police sources are not able to provide that kind of trained manpower. So what they're doing now, CRPF is being taken on board, and CRPF is in many places accompanying local police to go and carry out a raid and recover things. you should not be surprised that as the layers start revealing themselves, a time may come where you may find Indian Army doing it along with local police. There's a kind of gap we have in our policing. Two reasons. Firstly, vacancies. Secondly, reforms. I don't know whether you know it or not. In 2009, retired IPS officers went to Supreme Court requesting that there's a committee which has written a huge report of few thousand pages telling Indian government what kind of reforms are required in our policing. And this, I think, happened in 2002, 3 or 4, the early part of first decade. And no government thereafter has even thought of implementing those reforms. And the case is pending in Supreme Court. Supreme Court is asking central government, why you're not doing it? They're asking for time. So I understand, and we all understand, the army is supposed to protect our borders. Army is not supposed to get involved in internal security situations. But I foresee this situation. And if this is a need, so be it. After all, like I said, I have no fear from Pakistan. I don't care about Bangladesh. We can sort them out the way we want. The biggest fear is inside. And unfortunately, we don't have resources. Again, connected with the same thing which I started. You don't have resources because people who are supposed to give you resources are not bothered. They are busy making money. They're busy recovering their money. Now, this government is very neat. There's been no scam. Let's be honest. They've done wonders. We should not be giving one part of the story. But the government is not political parties. Government is bureaucracy. And bureaucracy is intact. Same bureaucracy which was there during previous government times is still there. And their cabal cannot be broken. The famous dialogue from Kashmir files, Sarkar hamari hai, ecosystem unka hai, system unka hai, what to that effect. So that's what worries me. Otherwise, if we had enough police, we had enough trained people, and we have enough manpower and money to fund our security agencies, investigating agencies, intelligence agencies, this problem which has reached this stage that wherever you put your hand, you find gelatin sticks, you find pistols, you find kattas, you find RDX, you find poison, you find everything, wherever you put your hands. The problem is you don't have those many hands to put into the places where these things are lying. So that sort of worries me. Mahadev has been kind. People say that Bharat runs on Ishwar's kripa. I am a firm believer, because with these kinds of gaps and with these kinds of thinking on top, with the bureaucracy playing its own role, I at times wonder how we've been living in peace till now. We have been living in peace from 2014. There will be no blast. We must agree that. So it's a very complex, challenging situation, because you cannot do everything overnight. You cannot get new guys. You can't now implement police reforms. The expertise, the training, the experience comes with time. I think it's high time that government should now focus with this challenge in front, start filling the gaps, carry out reforms. We agree judiciary reforms are not happening because judges don't want it. Administrative reforms are not happening because IS lobby doesn't want it. You don't do reforms in education sector because there are moneyed lobbies who are running good schools and colleges. Medical reforms you can't do. It's okay. We lived without reforms. We will continue to live with reform. But police reforms and reforms which concern the competence or potency of our agencies must not be delayed. And that these are being delayed, and that's the worry. Recovery, these things will carry on. This okay. People are doing their job. There are people, good people in the whole organization. Like I said, that SHO of the police station or the SP of Srinagar city, we have good people, but they need support.
Thank you so much, sir. No, not at all, not at all. Very valid and relevant. Colonel Saab, you see, if you look at police force across the states, right? I'm sorry to say this, but 1 in 2 are out of shape. They are no shape to run even to catch a thief. And these are all, I thought, physical training was a must. Like, if, for example, if you take Army or Air Force, right? I think PT is once a week, mandatory, 2 hours or something like that.
Every day.
Every day.
Every day. PT is the first thing you start in the morning.
Yeah. So this is baked in. Sir, I'm talking about even officers. They have to go and undergo physical training.
Yes,
I've seen. Yeah. So there is a compulsory discipline that you need to have to make sure that you stay fit and that you are in full health. Because see, in Army, right? Half Agniveer now only 4 years service. Maybe it will go to bigger number. But essentially, what happens is that you have a very limited shelf life where you are willing to or able to run around and be able to quickly assume that there is a ground offensive. That's what you plan for, but not these days. They also have to plan about how to use equipment, very sophisticated equipment, programming, computer literacy, how to use it, and that thing where you are in the zone. You are the person at the end of the day making that call. Sirji, in Opsindur, very underscored thing. We actually used 50 rupee bullets or something like that to take down drones. Just, what you put in a gun. How can that go and take out a big drone? The answer for that is how well you have your software that allows you to aim it at the right spot. There are a lot of things that India has done. You can say, oh, we did some jugaad. No, it's a presence of mind. It's what they are thinking on the ground at that moment. So in terms of preparedness, you are absolutely right, sir. India can sort out Pakistan, China, Bangladesh. China will be a little bit harder because of the size, not because they are any better soldiers or anything like that, at least as of today. But the challenge that India is facing, like I'll give you a simple example, Raina ji. A lot of illegal construction has taken place. In Tamil Nadu, for example, you have illegal churches being built, illegal mosques being built, temple lands are being usurped and done for this. Full connivance with the local government, which thinks that if they can't do this thing, they will not get their vote. So it's a total vote bank thing. Now, in such thing, the state government's police also is stuck. NIA wants to raid something. They can't use or rely on the local police because the information leaks like a sieve. So they don't know. So what they do is they take police from a different state and go for the raid. And there is resistance there. And after you have caught somebody, this guy is hiding in a masjid, he is hiding in somewhere, right? The local population starts garrowing the whole place and not allowing the officials to from performing their duty. You see, these are all things which are, you have to have a sense of what is right and what is wrong. So we are brainwashed at that level. So I'm hearing in Uttar Pradesh finally now that madrasas are being looked at much more closely. Sir, one thing they found out, in Nepal border in Uttar Pradesh, there are many madrasas and they are teaching students 8, 10, 12, 14-year-olds. You know where they are coming from? Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. What is the need for you to take kids from here all the way up to Nepal? What the hell are you teaching there? I mean, this is what we are coming to know now. It's been going on for a long time. No wonder that doctors are doing something that is not that's something that they did not train for. So somewhere this mindset has to change. And I'd like you to talk about this because, see, you are on the ground. You are facing it day in and day out. Maybe Jammu is not as bad as Srinagar, but there are many Kashmiri Hindus who are stuck in Jammu, still waiting to go back to their property, and they are too scared to go back now. Because anybody who goes back there, he's being attacked. So talk to us a little bit about the situation on the ground. And there are some steps, concrete steps that need to be taken. I mean, I always have been advocating you create an enclave inside wherever the population used to live, populate them with ex-servicemen, give them special incentives, let them live there for 5-10 years, stabilize the place. Then you start slowly displacing the people who own that land back into that enclave, but the enclave is always secure. This is exactly what Israel does. We don't have to go and invent something new. Just look at how Israeli settlements have come up in West Bank, right? So somewhere that part, 2019, we signed abrogated Article 370, which meant anybody who was born in the valley has complete rights to own land anywhere. On the ground, it is not happening. So how much of this is the same old bureaucracy shit and how much of it is political will?
There are three parties. Politics, of course. Politicians have their stakeholders. They did their bit by saying, okay, 2019, we abrogate 370 and we remove 35A. Then you have a bureaucracy which has its own fundas and it runs by own ideas. And then you have Kashmiri Pandits. Now, Kashmiri Pandits also are not united. If you look at their demand, if you look from Delhi's perspective, Some are saying give us a, like you said, give us a enclave in Kashmir, which should be well protected and it should be secured and all that. Others say, what is the use in going and staying in a ghetto if you can't go and sit under the walnut tree under which one grew up? They said, अपने गांव के अंदर जाके उस पेड़ के नीचे नहीं बैठेंगे हम बचपन बिता तो क्या फायदा? So that's another thing. The third issue is that the generation which sat under the walnut tree is vanishing. They're dead. They're dying. And the new generation, which is now, which forms a majority of Kashmiri Pandit community, has not even lived in Kashmir. And if you now try to force them back into Kashmir, they find no commonality. They don't recognize people there. The older population at least had the class fellows. Of course, same class fellows threw stones at their houses, try to molest their daughters. That's all right. But then at least there's some connect. That connect is dying by day, so we are getting delayed. We are late already. And through your platform, it's appeal to government, or whatever you want to do it fast. Now, what is the other option, the one which I favor personally? See, there's 60,000 acres worth of land which was owned by Kashmiri Pandits once upon a time. Ownership. Most of it is now either been encroached upon or snatched or taken back by local Muslims.
Force and fire sale.
Yeah, it's a distress sale. After they came to Jammu, Kashmiri Pandits, these guys came behind them and made them sign stamp papers because they knew that whatever may be the worth of property, that worth they'll never get. So they signed. They keep signing even today. Then government came with this announcement, okay, Kashmiri Pandits must log on to the district information websites and then claim and tell where the properties are, so we'll get them. My practical solution is, with keeping this thing in mind, that yes, if you have to live in a ghetto, you better keep living in Noida. Doesn't matter. If you actually want to create a long-term solution, see, Israeli solution is a solution, but it is not really working. If had it worked, Israel would have been peaceful. The best way is to merge and let them intermingle. Now that can't happen overnight. For that, I had written a paper where I said, pick up one village in each district. There are 10 districts in Kashmir Valley. You pick up one village. Don't be very ambitious. So 10 villages across valley. And valley also, we must understand that the valley floor, which is about 80 kilometers by 40 kilometers, is actually the ethnicity-wise actual Kashmir. When you go into Kupwara, you go into Gurez, you go into Uri, those areas, they are Pahadi communities, and there actually people are Hindus are already staying. So I said, okay, you pick up 10 villages in whole of valley, and those villages should be the villages where Kashmiri Pandits had their own. See, there are two types of villages in Kashmir. One type is where everybody used to live together. A Muslim house, a Kashmiri house, Pandit's house, and you have a Sikh's house, and all, majority being Muslims. But there were others, a majority of them were like that, where they had mohallas. So within a small village or big village or township, you had localities which were pure Kashmiri Pandits. Now those localities have either been looted, their window frames also been taken out, or they've been taken over, depending on the importance or financial part of that value of the property. So my suggestion was that you pick up 10 villages where you had these pure localities on the fringes of a village or inside a village, get Kashmiri Pandits back who belong to that village, and along with them send 10 odd ex-servicemen, like you said, give them weapons, and these ex-servicemen should be provided a piece of land with the agreement that they will not be able to sell it for next 30 years. Give them money to build houses, everybody, ex-servicemen and Pandits, and then see. Then what will happen is slowly, because I keep going to Kashmir. I was there about in second half of October. When you go and interact with people, they come out very sweet, old, good, warm people. When they get together and create a mob, they, as you know, their psychology, that everything thinking goes for a 6. So at least for interaction purposes, once you go back to your village where your old friends live, then there's a better chance of you intermingling, and slowly they're normalizing the whole thing. Kashmir as it exists today is actually very normalized security-wise. That gun-toting terrorist or even too many of security forces are not visible. Markets are open late in the night, and Kashmir security-wise has undergone a change. it is a fragile change. I agree. Pahalgam could happen anytime. That is a point we should not forget. Other option which you were hinting on, there the funda is okay. If you have 60,000 acres of land, which belong to Kashmiri Pandits, but now under different people or government also, certain buildings are used by government also, forces also. So government should compensate them by giving them 60,000 acres. If not 60,000 acres, give them 50, 30, 40 in some ratio, and create a big settlement in southern Kashmir, in the foothills of 𝗣𝗙𝗏𝗄𝗏, other side of 𝗣𝗙𝗏𝗄𝗏, where you have Shopian and all, because there's a lot of state land there. State and forest land is there. So you can actually settle them there, create a block, and give them a seat of couple of MLAs or one MP or something, and don't put it under Kashmir. Create it as an independent block. You can call it a Kashmiri Pandit Council, like you do it in Leh and Kargil, or you call it whatever, autonomous region, something. So there are ways. But the problem is, Shreeji, this what we were discussing earlier. This Kashmir is, of course, one problem. The problem is when you adopt a way of functioning in government machinery where firstly you try to appease, and secondly you don't do anything which can put a kind of control over minority population. Talking specifically of Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir, Hindus are just about 20%. In fact, if you take minorities, it's a 26-28%. And even then, within Jammu and Kashmir, Muslims who are, like I said, from 70 to 80%, they enjoy the status of minority community. So all these doctors which you see, who go out and get trained, and people studying all across India, are there on minority scholarships from a state where Muslims are in majority. From that state, Muslims are being given minorities scholarships and being sent for studies all over. There are 3,500 Kashmiri students doing MBBS in Bangladesh. There are many, numbers not known, doing it in Turkey. There are many Shia Muslims from Kashmir who are doing MBBS in Iran. So my point is very simple. When you have a country like Turkey, Azerbaijan standing with Pakistan, fighting against you during Operation Sindoor, the next logical step should have been to ban travel to these countries, and if not ban, to restrict the travel and de-recognize their degrees. There was a time during Gilani's time, Hurriyat conference, when Kashmiris would go to Pakistan. Pakistan had reserved seats for Kashmiri Muslims. These guys will take 𝗟𝗏, the slip signed by Hurriyat guys, pay them, of course, and then those seats used to be free for them in Pakistan. At one point, India went and de-recognized those degrees. Why are we not de-recognizing degrees of students who are studying in Bangladesh? Bangladesh is a hostile country today. So there are many things which baffle you, that as a common person on ground, like you said, I am on ground, but even anybody observing this whole thing, why are we not doing it? And that's where I have a belief that bureaucracy, the appeasement policy, and something which you call it as minority veto, that comes into, that is part of the psyche, that we will not put anything on paper which kind of controls or hinders the actions of minority community. So for them, courts will open at 12 in the around midnight. For them, bail is the first right, and for them, everything, the whole system comes out to support. And moment you have a Hindu victim or a victim from other side, nobody really cares. So what I was referring to layers, there are so many layers, Shreeji, here, that people sitting outside have planned. They know where's the gap. They know how judiciary functions. They know how policing works. They know how bureaucracy works. So they have kind of found loopholes. And that's why you have all these things happening around us. And that's why I am not confident that we are safe in India. We are sitting on a volcano, to be honest. There's a problem brewing up in Punjab. Very soon you'll hear about it. Why? You have terrorists fighting elections here. You have one guy from Punjab who's MP sitting in jail. Another guy from Srinagar, Kashmir, Engineer Rashid and 𝗟𝗡𝗙𝗪 there. They are MPs. Why were they allowed to fight elections? Even if the constitution allowed it, the constitution could have been amended. There have 100 amendments already been done, 100 plus. Why not one more? So somewhere, I mean, I don't know who, but somebody has to sit. You and me can only talk or discuss. There's a systemic issue, huge systemic issue. That's why we see this, what the threat happening in form of 0.5, or you call it 1.0. So it's a muddle, Shirji, and really big one.
Thank you so much, sir. I would be remiss if I don't ask you this one question before we go to viewers' questions and answers. I'm hearing rumors, I don't know how true they are, that there is reverse migration going on from border states into Bangladesh. Bangladesh itself is in a piece of problem right now. And if there is a reverse migration, what is the game plan here? Mamata is a very shrewd, cunning, street smart kind of person. She's not somebody who's going to let go of her vote bank so easily. What's going on, sir?
Yeah, we saw the videos, we saw the headlines, and of course, feed from the ground is that the many villages which are now vacated, which were previously being held by Bangladeshis. See, the SIR thing has started in West Bengal. Again, there are issues there. BLOs are now protesting there because, like you said, Mamata is too sharp and too smart. There's no guarantee, Shirji, they'll not come back. So they're gone today because SIR is happening. After elections, if Mamata comes back, they'll come back. Yes, agree. When they come back, they will not have the right to vote in parliamentary elections thereafter. Or if they're leaving today, they'll not be able to vote in assembly elections. And they happen to be a big vote bank of Mamata. My problem is that, yes, today it looks very good that they are going that side. Same time, we are also getting a lot of information and videos are coming up where many of them have entered Nepal. Many Bangladeshis have entered Nepal from West Bengal. There are many who are traveling down to Kerala. And Bangladeshis who've been living in Jammu, like Rongia and Bangladeshi, they are still here. They're not gone anywhere. And in Delhi and Mumbai, every second maid is a Bangladeshi wearing sindoor and bindi. But so I've been saying our industry, actually, the semi-skilled part of industry, manufacturing industry, actually those things are manpower is basically Bangladeshis. Our own kids don't work. They don't want to go and dirty their hands. For them, not white collar terrorists, but white collar jobs are the best jobs. So most of factories you visit, wherever in India, you will find Bangladeshis there. So I've been proposing, who listens to me, I said, just tell them to voluntarily come out and say, we are Bangladeshis. Give them work permit, defranchise them. So the moment you defranchise them and legally accept them workers, and if they have 10 kids here, those who are not working, 8 of them, wife working is all right, 8 can go back they have to go back to Bangladesh. The only worker, if husband and wife both are working, even if as a maid, you let them stay here. It will do two things. Firstly, the vote bank politics will go because they'll be defranchised. Secondly, they'll have a work permit which will be renewed every 2 years or whatever time duration. And our industry or our work doesn't suffer. Because actually, I anticipate a situation where overnight, if hypothetically, government of India says, okay, let's pick up all 8 crores, somebody says 10 crores, somebody says 5 crores. The fair judgment is about 3 to 5 crores is the figure. You pick all of them and throw them back into Bangladesh or Bay of Bengal, so our industry will come to a halt. So there are related issues. That's one reason that government is not going too harsh. But now I think Assam has taken a lead. They are actually throwing people out. And Bangladesh border guards are just not resisting. And earlier they'll not allow you. You took the guys there. The host country has to accept them back, no? So they will refuse. And now they are not seen. They don't even resist. That's why the rumors started floating around that Chicken Neck or Siliguri corridor has been expanded into Elephant Neck, and nothing of that sort happened. But yes, the authority which you exercise through your forces, like border guards who tell you, oh, this is our area, that thing is not visible on ground. So I'm happy they're going back. I'm equally apprehensive they'll come back. So it has to be a permanent ilaj. The permanent ilaj, like you said, you send them back to Bangladesh where there's no job, there's no money, they don't have food to eat. Where will they go? They will eventually come back. So why not pick and choose? Give permits to people who can add value to our manufacturing sector and keep them under control. Otherwise, they go and they'll not survive there. No, they'll come back. And as long as you have Mamta, you have Stalin, you have Kerala, they will come and find new places. The threat will remain. So that's a big challenge again.
Thank you so much, sir. There are tools available, viewers. Immigration is a central government problem. States cannot get into that. And these you have to catch them at the borders as well as the companies that are employing them. And you just have to mandate, show us your payroll, who is working where. And they can only fudge so much. Like Colonel Saab is saying, if 80% of the industries are doing this, then you have a problem. You have to regularize it, you have to recognize it, and you have to find out how to go about doing it right. And it's not an easy problem, but it has to be done. If you don't do this, the country is going to fall apart and under its own weight. You already have so many other issues, and this is just going to make it even worse. Thank you so much, Colonel Saab. We have a couple of questions. Let's take them, and then we can sign off.
Ji.
Srinivas Iyengar wants to know, Raina ji, after collecting all evidence against Al-Fatah University, what is preventing government to close down this university and to do thorough investigation of minority institutions?
It's happening, like Shree ji mentioned, UP Madrasa. Again, there's a chief minister who feels a need and he is doing this, others are not doing. We have more than, I think, 16 or 17 states or UTs being governed by BJP. It should have happened. I agree with you. It's happening. There's 6 universities which are under scanner. Raids are being carried out. What I mentioned initially, do we have enough people and trained people to do that kind of search? That is one issue which ails us. But yes, things are happening. And I would go a step further and say, I'll ask you a counter question. Why this Sunari Masjid has not been sealed yet? Where those guys spent 3 hours. And there's a photograph or video which shows the car coming out with the bonnet not really fitting properly because they must have filled up the explosive inside. So why that masjid is still standing? If not demolished, why not sealed? So there are a lot of questions. I agree. Things are happening on ground, but yes, lot more needs to be done.
Next one, please. Thought Provocateur wants to know, who were the caches of thousands of rifles caught meant for? Are these trained recruits awaiting logistics and orders?
Anything and everything is possible. You don't really need trained, like army trained. A guy with a pistol or a hand grenade or an automatic weapon, like one found in the car of that lady Mujahid president, new chairman of Jaish-e-Mohammed India, that Dr. Shamina. You just need to press trigger and kill 50, 60 people before people even say, hey Ram. So yes, that is a plan. You don't need training. You just need frenzied minds who will go and press the trigger.
Next question, please. Jairam and Surya Narayanan wants to know, why in mosque the CCTV camera is not allowed? In Hindu temples and church, the CCTV cameras are installed, but in mosque it is not allowed.
See, let's not talk about Hindu temples. They're controlled by government. They're the worst. The sufferer. Unki to baat hi mat karo.
Right.
And why not mosque? Yes, why not mosque? Why not madrasas? Should be. I agree. When you know where the problem is, and when Shree was saying that people from South India are studying in Nepal, UP part of Nepal border, Indo-Nepal border. So I would tell you another thing, Shree ji. For years, Maulvis from Sahanpur, Deobandis, been going and preaching in Kashmir. In front of our own eyes in 90s, when there was no social media, we saw villages which didn't have proper houses. They started getting shining brand new mosques. And the preacher is a Sahanpuri. That time also reports were sent that why Sahanpuris are here. Kashmir mein, don't they have enough Maulvis? They have. But those Maulvis are sidelined, and you had these hardliners going in, preaching all kind of thing. And we close our eyes. Same thing I agree with Mr. Jayaraman. I think I am not wearing specs. Why not? If there's a madrasa or a mosque or a mandir or a church or a gurdwara, why not? They are public places. They are not private spaces. They should be kept under surveillance.
Thank you so much, Colonel Raina Saab. And viewers, a small request. We are taking pre-orders for Sengols with enclosures now. and you are welcome to place your orders. We'll be able to ship them in 3 to 4 weeks time, and that's a wonderful thing that Colonel Saab has. Thank you so much, Sirji.
Thank you, sir, for this lovely gift. And yes, we must support these initiatives. फिर कहते हैं हम सनातनी हैं, हम भारतीय हैं, तो let's show it.
Yes, indeed, and all the best to you, sir, and we'll see you again in short time.
Thank you, sir. Namaskar.